Welcome, friends. We're continuing our read through of Consider the Source, a Design for Living and Study Guide by Dr. Jenny Finn. Today we will resume with page 37, Learn from the Earth. The beauty of the earth is hard to miss. At some point in our lives, most of us are touched by its magic. Seeing a bright pink sunset, pulling a carrot out of the ground, or watching a massive thunderstorm from a window, we notice the magnificence and power of the earth. Some of us might even feel safer with the earth than we do with other people, finding comfort in a forest, by an ocean, or in a garden. Others might fear the wildness of the earth, as it reminds us that ultimately we are not in control of life. Whatever our relationship is with the earth, when it comes to how life works, the earth is by far our greatest teacher. Life humbles us through our experiences. I first learned about the limits of my power when I confronted an addiction and faced my own possible death from cancer. I continued to be humbled by life when I gave birth to my children and held the hand of my dad as he died. Along with our experiences, the earth shows us, like none other, that our human power is limited. Its miracles are endless. The sun is 93 million miles away and is powerful enough to give us light and warmth. Hurricanes, forest fires, and tornadoes wake us up to an immense power that we cannot harness no matter how hard we try. The seasons of the earth and the ocean tides show us that there is a mysterious rhythm to life that we have no control over. When we are humble enough to accept the limits of our power, we can learn to work with life rather than against it. When it comes to how life works, the earth has much to teach us. We can see this wisdom in the transformation of a tiny seed. When a seed is planted in the ground, it grows by breaking open and rooting down into the soil, into a network of support that sustains it. Before pushing its way through the surface, the roots of the seed spread out further to connect to the ecosystem it is a part of. The sprout breaks through the ground and spreads out further, unfurling its leaves and giving beyond itself as it bears its fruit or casts its seeds. Life roots down, networks, and spreads out to thrive. We apply this wisdom to culture building when we build an example, sustain through a network, share the message. We hear a lot about the problems in our world today. We also hear a lot about what we hope for. The earth shows us that to grow something new, we need to start where we are. Be an example in our own lives of what we hope for in the world. Build a living example of the possibilities we dream of. Commit to taking care of it over time and support it as it spreads. Examples show us what is actually possible. We need more examples of people and communities coming alive. The earth shows us every day without question that thriving is possible even in the face of great adversity. It is time we follow the earth's lead when it comes to creating a world where all life thrives. The practices. Build an example. Coming alive as a culture starts with one community at a time, choosing to root down in a place, build an example of life-giving culture, and stick with it over time. This requires a lot of trust and determination, as well as a long-term commitment from those building the example. As we root down and create an example of the culture we want to live in, surprises, challenges, and possibilities might distract us or even cause us to want to give up. The earth inspires us to carry on by showing us what is possible and teaching us how to sustain what we started. When we started Springhouse, we made mistakes and still do. You cannot avoid failing when you experiment. Vulnerability is the norm when we choose to come alive as a person and a community. As uncertain as it is, building an example of what we hope for in the world is the most important thing we could do. Coming alive is what the world needs right now. Sustain through a network. When we start something new, we can feel alone sometimes. When our perspective gets clouded by fear and uncertainty, we can easily forget the fact that we are all connected. When we feel alone, it is important to remember that we are joined by many others who share the vision of a culture coming alive. It is also important to trust the support we cannot see. A good example are the millions of miles of mycelium beneath our feet. Mycelium is the unseen fungal network that binds the soil together, connects different species to each other, processes waste, and is essential to the forest's health. Like the forest, a community coming alive is not coming alive by itself. So much that is seen and unseen sustains a thriving community. When resistance and insecurity come, we must have faith in the seen and unseen connections that support our good efforts. When we trust life and do our best to take good care of what we started, magic happens. And eventually that magic spreads out into a world that needs it. Share the message. We have been experimenting at Springhouse for a while now and have learned a lot about what it takes to sustain a community committed to coming alive. We know that it starts with adults themselves committed to thriving in a world where that is not the norm. We know that a community comes alive when we respect the people in it, live from values we share, and look out for each other as we serve a common vision and mission. We have learned from the earth that to move toward a mighty vision like living in a world where all life thrives, we must start where we are, build something life-giving, and take good care of it over time. Springhouse has done this, and we have stories to tell about our experience. Our stories are the seeds we cast. Our experience of building culture coming alive is the fruit we offer to others. When something is rooted in the source of life and well taken care of, it naturally thrives, eventually giving itself away to others. Learn from the Earth study questions. Where are the places that you feel connected to? What places on Earth do you find inspiration and comfort? How do you feel about wildness? Have you spent time in the wild by yourself? If not, why not? If so, what was that like? When have you been humbled in your life? What does surrendering your will mean to you? How do you gain inspiration from the earth about what is possible in your life and your work? How could your work and your life be more aligned with how life works? There is an old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. How are you collaborating with others? What about collaborating with unseen forces? Is your work inspiring others? How would you know? How does your work in the world meet the needs of the world? What is your relationship with commitment? Are you involved with something, or have you started something that creates the conditions for thriving over the long term? How long do you see yourself doing this work? What would take you from it? What is your definition of magic? Have you experienced magic? And if so, how?